Today, we're talking about the Vatican Bank news, the challenges with the economy, and what you need to be doing about it. Join me for the discussion.
Investing Secrets with Kevin Attride.
They needed to move all of their money into one central location in 30 days. $5.6 billion is a lot of money. I'm Kevin Attride, and I'm on a mission to help you with investing secrets, empowering you to succeed financially, changing your financial perspective and growing your wealth in good times and in bad. And when the next crisis comes, those prepared to weather the storm will achieve great success while the world melts with fear.
Today's episode has been made possible by our presenting sponsors, Living Wealth, Bank on Yourself with Private Family Financing, Wellings Capital, Build Wealth through Diversified Recession-Resistant Commercial Real Estate, and Smeed CPA, the next frontier CPA firm for strategic investors.
I don't think I need to tell you that we're experiencing a number of financial difficulties. All you need to do is go to the grocery store and you see things that are a lot more than they used to be. Well, I want to clue you in on a piece of news that I recently learned. Our markets are going through a lot of turbulence. If you're invested in the stock market, you're seeing go up and go down. A lot of people I know have lost a lot of money recently. But the market volatility is one thing. It's another thing to look and see what's coming down the pike. Well, I recently learned that a major entity in this world made some dramatic changes. Let me paint the picture for you. An entity that in 2021 had $5.6 billion, that's billion with a B, not million, but $5.6 billion in assets, told its entities that they needed to move all of their money into one central location in 30 days. $5.6 billion is a lot of money. Well, this institution was told to move large sums of money within 30 days. That's nearly unheard of. I try to think about if I needed to move significant money from different locations all to one central location in 30 days, I'd have to move significantly, and I'd have to do it for a significant reason. Well, it's interesting. This organization is called the Vatican Bank, or at least that's what it's commonly known as. The name is actually the Institute for Works of Religion. Well, the Pope in late August told Catholic entities they needed to move all of their assets into the Vatican Bank and to do it by September 30. Well, I don't know exactly why all of these Catholic entities need to move their assets by September 30, but it tells me that the Vatican is moving its money to protect itself against something coming down the pike. I'm not giving you advice. I'm not suggesting you have to do anything. But when I come across a piece of news, this is not just a show about investing secrets, but it's really about adding value to you. And when I think about what I'm doing, what I'm telling my family and friends, I want you to have a sneak peek into that. So today we're going to talk a little bit about this piece of news. It's reported in mainstream media to a small extent, and it's being reported by other entities, especially the Catholic News Network. But I want you to think about when large organizations move to protect their assets, something is likely coming down the pike. And what is that? We don't know exactly, but it could mean a whole variety of things. And so here are some things I'm thinking about. Here are things that I'm talking about with my family and friends, and I want you to have a sneak peek. Many of these things we talk about in Lighthouse Wealth and our course, the Wealth Accelerator. But I'm going to give you just a sneak peek as I think through these things. First and foremost, as we think about the triangle and the opposition constantly squeezing this triangle, inflation, market forces, etc., we know that this is becoming larger and larger. there are more market forces moving against your assets and your investing strategy. So what does your triangle look like? What strategies are you implementing, and what are you going to work on? First, as I think about it, the liquidity side of the triangle becomes really important. First and foremost, I'm thinking about how can I pull back on spending? And do I need to actually spend money on certain things? Do I need to pay down any bills or debts immediately, whether that's in the next 30 days, 90 days, or longer? Can I wait? Can I collect more of that cash or the money that comes into my accounts? Can I hold that for a longer period of time before I let it go so that I have a greater cushion around my savings? And second, and this may sound a little far-fetched, but I'm thinking about how do I reduce my cash? And we'll probably talk about this in another episode in the future, but how am I minimizing the physical cash that I have? And I'll talk a little bit more about this in a moment because that has to go somewhere. In addition, I'm thinking about how do I minimize dollars that I have in my commercial banks. Yes, you heard me correctly. How do I minimize dollars in my commercial banks? So you might be saying, I'm trying to increase my savings, increasing my reserves, I'll add that as well, but I want to reduce physical cash and I want to minimize money in commercial banks. All of those, if you don't understand the secrets that we've been talking about over many months and that we teach at Lighthouse Wealth, it may sound a little confusing for you, but I want you to think about private banking. If you've never considered private banking, I want you to contact us, or you can connect at the very end of the episode. You can download my guide, and I'll tell you more about private banking. That's something for you to check out. In addition, when we move to the preservation side of the triangle, the preservation side speaks about gold and silver, precious metals. So when I talked about reducing cash, reducing money in your commercial bank, some of that has to do with private banking. Another side is having physical gold and silver. So I'm talking with my precious metals dealer constantly and thinking about what I need to do around physical gold and silver. Next, I'm going to move to the growth side of the triangle. Think about how do you take conservative positions that aren't going to place you in great risk. Also, can you think about, are there avenues that you can actually get out of investments that have greater volatility? And I'm speaking specifically on paper assets, think stocks and bonds, mutual funds, ETFs. Also, I'm thinking about cryptocurrency. And I know many people are very interested. They think cryptocurrency is the great answer. The problem is cryptocurrency has great volatility itself, and maybe it's a safe haven, or maybe it's an area where you can lose money. I want you to think about, is the asset you're investing in, is this asset or so-called asset, can it go to zero or near zero? Or is it very likely to always have some amount of value, even if it's diminished? So some things that I think about, businesses can be like that. Real estate can be like that. But paper assets, currency or cryptocurrency, those can go to zero or near zero. And there's just greater volatility because of the ease of trading. Okay, and let me summarize these, but wait, there's going to be one catch at the end. So in summary, in the liquidity, more savings, more reserves, less physical cash, less in commercial bank. And if you're interested, check out private banking. On the preservation, physical gold and silver. And on the growth, take conservative positions. Think about how do you make sure that you're minimizing any risk in the stock market, and how do you think about maximizing real estate investments, business investments, and there's a number of other aspects we could go deeper in, but that's a whole nother episode. Those are the aspects, but here's the one other thing. Those are the strategies. You have to carefully consider the tactics in each one of them. I don't want you to be confused. We just talked high-level strategies, but the tactics really are how you implement those strategies. And if you're interested in that, stick around for the very end of the episode, and I have a free guide I want to send you that speaks to the strategies and the tactics. As we think about what our economy is doing and what's coming down the pipeline, there's a lot of forecasters saying that the September, October timeframe is a time of which there's greater volatility, more market dynamics for you to be aware of. So I want you as the audience to think about, what are your investments doing today? I know a lot of people, they're heavily invested in stocks and bonds, and they've lost a lot of money. And I have one friend that often says, well, it's just on discount. You're buying on sale. So what happens if it just continues to go down and down and down? Or it's a yo-yo going up and down, and you're not sure when to buy, when to sell, or you're just holding on. You also need to think about, and we'll have to do another episode specifically on inflation, but the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, continues to go up and up and up. And yet when you roll the clock back to how it was previously measured, it's about double. And so I need you to think about, when you're saying, oh, I need to get a 6 or 8 or 10% return out of the stock market or another investment, you have to think about inflation may even be double or triple what your return could be. If you're managing your finances and your assets, your investments, without looking at an inflation-adjusted return, then you're very likely losing money. I know people close to me that are just looking at their raw return and aren't even looking at inflation. One person even tells me, well, I just don't want to lose money. But you have to think about what inflation is doing currently that is eroding or eating away your investment and the buying power that it has. So I want you to think about it from a very high level, and then think about it to a practical level. What are you doing day in and day out to prepare yourself? And whether it's a little storm, or whether the storm is coming a year from now, or whether this is the biggest hurricane that you've ever experienced, I want you contemplating how it's going to impact you right now. And there are more investing secrets that are quite powerful for you to build and maximize your wealth. As a matter of fact, I've created a free guide to help you to be more effective in your investing journey. It's called The Top Investing Hacks the Exclusive Rich are not telling us. And I want you to take action right now by clicking the link in the description below. I want you to have this exclusive access so that you can understand the strategies and the tactics the rich use to maximize and grow their wealth. All right, it's time for you to experience financial freedom.
The information contained in this episode are opinions not to be used as individual guidance. As always, consult your own financial team for your investment decisions.